And you touched on something there that kind of the housing shortage is another big issue that is a problem right now. Depending on what estimate you're looking at, we need another 4 to 7 million homes in the U.S. depending on the your source,
Yep.
and it's dramatically leaning toward the lower end of the income spectrum when it comes to the housing shortage. There's no easy solution, but I know affordable housing is near and dear to your heart at Walker Dunlop. That was a big part of your one of your recent acquisitions. So, what do you see as the kind of the solution, both in the long term and short term sense?
So to the numbers that I look at, the on the single family side, we're about 3 million single family homes shy. On the multifamily side, we're somewhere between 500,000 and 750,000. So you're somewhere between 3.5 and 4 million homes short of meeting the pent up demand for housing. So you're spot on in your numbers there, Matt, as it relates to what the need is. The fear is rent control. And the reason I say that is because rent control has not solved any housing problem in any city or state across the country since people came up with the idea of rent control. The only thing that has ever brought the cost of housing down has been new supply. And so it's a supply issue, not a control issue, if you will. And one of the interesting things is in many municipalities, for instance, in Boston, Massachusetts, the mayor has done two things simultaneously. One that I view as being very positive, one that I view as being very negative. On the negative side, the mayor has tried to push through rent control. It likely doesn't get through the legislature and will not get through, but she is trying to push a rent control measure in Boston right now to try and freeze rent increases. I don't think that that's good public policy. They need more supply of rental housing. On the supply side, the mayor has proposed that there be a new tax policy put into place for people who want to convert office buildings into multifamily properties, so residential. And that's a very interesting proposal. It only came out yesterday. And the idea is to give a tax deferral for 30 years of 75% of the taxes that an owner would pay on a residential property if they convert an office building into a residential property. Now, there's some other pieces to that, Matt, that are there. First of all, there's an environmental standard that they think is going to add about 2% to the overall conversion cost. And then they also want 20% of the units in those buildings to be rent controlled. And that's up from the mayor's original proposal at 13%. The question in all of that is, does the math work to convert those office buildings to residential, given a 75% abatement on taxes for a 30-year period, and then also with the environmental standards as well as the affordable housing restrictions on 20% of the units? Time will tell. Gensler did a study, and supposedly there are 90 office buildings in Boston that are, if you will, qualify for this, that are kind of ripe for conversion given floor plan, the ability to convert to residential. We'll see how many owners actually go down that path. But at the end of the day, what is really needed is supply of more affordable housing. That's the reason we bought Alliant, as you rightfully point out, a year and a half ago. We're one of the largest owners and developers of affordable housing in the United States. And the final piece I'd say to it is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and HUD, all parts of the U.S. federal government, are very focused on promoting and financing affordable housing. And so although all three of them will do market rate housing, the real focus that Fannie, Freddie, and HUD have and their regulators have is to focus on putting their dollars into affordable housing properties.
Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to click subscribe if you don't subscribe to my channel already. And as always, this video is sponsored by The Motley Fool. Be sure to visit www.fool.com/Frankel to receive the top 10 best stocks to buy now.